Hi, this is Terry, aka Tap Records. I'm back in Evanston, Illinois, and we're going to do another record store interview at the world famous Vintage Vinyl Records. Hi, this is Terry, aka Tap Records, and I'm here back in Evanston, Illinois at the world famous Vintage Vinyl, and I'm here with Steve, the owner of Vintage Vinyl. Hi, Steve.
How you doing, Terry?
Well,
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you also.
Thank you.
Thank you for agreeing to this interview.
My pleasure.
Everybody wants to know about the store, and how did you get started with this?
It's an interesting story. I came here from New York in the mid-'70s. I did my master's degree at the Art Institute in painting. So I'm a painter and musician, had a band in New York, fairly well-known band in some circles now because Lenny Kaye at the Patti Smith group is my bass player.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and
wow.
That'll be another story that we'll get to at the end here, which will tie up everything.
Sure.
But, so I came here to do my master's degree and was always a record collector and a music fan. Thought that opening a store would be a good way to support my painting.
Okay.
And that worked out on some level because what happened was the store became very popular by the first day.
Yes.
And became so busy that the painting got further and further away. But here we are almost 37 years later, and it's all worked out very well.
Fantastic, fantastic. And I see you have everything here. I mean, from rock, I see you have different genres of rock. You have the lower level with more, you can see jazz and all of that kind of good stuff. And I did come here and I was flipping through. Your records are in immaculate condition.
Yes, well that's really the key to our shop, and it's been my goal from the day I opened to have that quality because I'm a record collector, obviously. And my idea is that I would never sell a record in the shop that I didn't want to take home for myself. So it's a very unique shop in that way, and I think different from almost every other shop in the world, and I've traveled the world a lot in record circles, that we really do try to have the best quality records that you can possibly have. So if a person is looking for that record, they know that that's the one that they're going to only need. They're never going to have to replace it. That's the one.
Yeah.
So.
And you can definitely see, I mean, everything, it's organized well. All of the records are just sealed well, and just everything.
That's the other thing about our shop in terms of keeping the records in the condition that we have them in. We want to make sure that they stay that way so that when a person takes them home, they don't have to worry about that. So everything is in plastic, and then we annotate all of the records with stickers so that people have a brief understanding of what it is in terms of the chronology of the record, maybe a reference point that would give them a sense of what that record is. If they just saw a record, as I did when I was a kid growing up, I would go in a record shop and a cover would catch my eye.
Exactly.
And something about that aesthetic would appeal to me, and I would want that record. I didn't know what the record sounded like, but either the band looked super cool, or the graphics. And so what we do is we try to give a person a sense that if they like this band, maybe they would also like this one.
Nice. Yeah. Nice. That's very nice. So how do you go about acquiring these records? Do you do estate sales, or people bring things in?
Well, we don't do much of that anymore because we have probably more records than we're ever going to need in this lifetime. I can't speak for the next one, but this one I think I'm pretty good. So, but because we've been here so long and buying records constantly, collections, and people know that we pay top prices for records, so that they're going to come in and get a super fair deal all the time. So people bring us their stuff, and now it's a very interesting time in regards to that too, because a lot of the guys who were collecting records in the 60s and 70s and even in the 80s now are sort of maybe in a different place in their lives. And a lot of them are beginning to either thin out their collections or, unfortunately, some of the people that we've known over the years have passed away.
Right.
And these are people who have amassed giant collections, very well curated, mostly by me. But a lot of those collections are now coming back to us because of these situations. So for a lot of people who are into records now, this is the perfect time to find records that have not been on the market for a very long time because they've been in collections of people that would never let them out.
They're not going to get rid of those, right?
But now, because of the age or circumstance, a lot of these records are coming back into the world, giving people an opportunity to have them again, which, you know, if I were just starting out, I would be like,
perfect timing.
It is a perfect time.
That's good. Perfect storm.
Yeah.
So, and speaking of that, in collections, the internet, how has that affected your business?
Well, that's an interesting factor too, because obviously we started the business years before the internet was invented.
Right.
And we developed a relationship with our clients on a personal one-to-one basis. People that would come in every week, and we would get to know who they were, get to know their tastes based on what they would purchase and conversations. And then at a certain point, that internet exploded. And there we were, right at the cusp of that, saying, okay, well, we better find out what this is about. And so it was almost like a complete flip over. It was at the time when people started doing a lot of their shopping on the internet and not physically walking into shops. We could see that the foot traffic was beginning to slow slightly. But at the same time, that internet just clicked in, and it was like the world opened up. Because at that point, even though we were doing minor mail order business, at that point it was placing ads in collectors' magazines. So you type up these lists, you submit them to the magazine, they list them, and people in Scandinavia or in France or Italy would get these mags, and you would ship records to them. But it was a small part of what we did. We were mostly focused on the interior of the shop. But at that moment, the world just exploded. So we had people now from every corner of the world. I mean, we were shipping records to a guy who lived in Fiji in a hut in the water on stilts.
Oh, amazing.
And his records would be delivered by helicopter.
Oh, wow.
Okay? So once that happened, I was like, okay, now the world is like right at our doorstep.
Right. It's truly your oyster.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Wow. Yeah, that's an amazing story. I'm still curious about your band.
Well, okay. So this is a really, really good story. So I had a band in the 60s. The band was called Reality Sandwich.
Okay. Psychedelic?
Very psychedelic.
Okay.
Absolutely. And I got to play guitar for Chuck Berry for a little while. A guy by the name of Slim Harpo, who was a blues guy who the Stones covered a bunch of his tracks, including Shake Your Hips and I'm a King Bee. So I was around on the scene for a long time in New York, doing that, going to art school, painting, the whole, cultural explosion was happening. And at a certain point, we added a bass player by the name of Lenny Kaye, who was with us for a while and is like amazing guy and has been in my life all these years. And at a certain point, I decided I was coming to Chicago to do my master's degree at the Art Institute of Painting. I was putting down my guitar and I was just focusing on art.
Okay.
Well, almost exactly at that same moment, I get a phone call from Lenny who says, well, I'm putting a new band together and I have this female vocalist and I was wondering if you'd like to play guitar for us.
Okay.
And I said, well, Lenny, I'm pretty much done. I'm moving to Chicago. I'm just doing painting. I'm putting the guitar down for a while. Thanks for the offer, but I'll see you another time.
Okay.
Fast forward, it's Patti Smith.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, no regrets on my part.
Right.
They're all wonderful
Coulda,
people,
woulda, shoulda.
absolutely. You know, the fact that it happened
Right.
is amazing. The fact that I was, you know, asked to play guitar.
Sure.
You know, I was super happy about that. And,
Yeah.
you know, had I been in a different place at a different time, I would have done it, no problem.
Right.
You know, but I was at a certain point in my life where I just needed to focus on another part of me. So, fast forward now, we're in 2016, so a couple of years ago, circumstances came together and I put a band together called The Mixture.
Okay.
And we've been playing some amazing shows. We opened up for a 60s band called the Standells. We've had some really, really great shows. We just played a show with Buddy Carlos at Cheap Trick.
Wow. Wow.
Fantastic show.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, we decided we're recording an album. The album is now finished, and one of the guest stars on the album is Lenny Kaye.
Full circle.
Called him up, asked him if he would like to contribute a guitar.
Right.
He's like, absolutely. Touched my heart completely after all these years, you know? And so it's like absolutely the full circle. So now Lenny and I are on a record together.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is it out now or
The
it will
album
be
is
out?
actually right now in the pressing plant.
Okay.
They are promising us to have that record sometime at the end of October, November.
We will pick it up.
Thank
Everybody
you.
watching, pick that up. Definitely
Thank
pick that
you,
up.
thank you.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, good story.
Yeah, definitely. Another thing, if anybody has seen the movie High Fidelity,
Yes.
vintage vinyl, this is that vintage vinyl.
Yes, it is. Well, so that story is about these kids that were coming in while they were in high school. John Cusack and his cronies. And they were very big music fans. And they were the nicest kids. And they would come in after school a couple of times a week.
Right.
And just ask questions. And I would be happy to, you know, steer them in various directions
Sure.
of music, you know, and their passion was obvious and they were just the sweetest guys. And so there it was, you know, you fast forward again a few years, John Cusack gets the rights to do the film of this book called High Fidelity, which is a British book based in the UK in an independent record store there. He decided that he was going to reset the book in Chicago because this is what he knew.
Right.
And vintage vinyl was the place that all these people grew up. So they came here, and I mean, it was amazing to me because that's one of those moments where you never realize the effect that you have on people until you hear something back like that. Right? Because a lot of times, you know, you're in a conversation, people are, you know, asking about records, you're helping them out, they're buying records, they're coming back, but you don't really understand the full effect that you might have on a person's life. Well, here was the moment where it just hit me in the face. I mean, these guys were like, you know what, Steve, you've been so amazing to us in our musical, you know, history and
journey.
Journey that we want to pay you back.
Nice.
I'm like, wow, thank you so much. So they came and they got a lot of records for the movie set and posters. They wanted to film the scenes in here, but because we're a little narrow and they wanted to remove the front window, it was a little bit difficult for us to actually arrange all of that. The logistics were a little difficult to arrange at that moment. We were going to have to close down for a few months. So they set that up in a set, but we provided a lot of the memorabilia and stuff like that. And then, of course, we had no idea that they were going to mention us actually by name in the film until we're in the theater on the preview of the film, and we're sitting there, and that scene comes on, and the guy says, well, you know, John Cusack, who is the owner of the shop, asks him how his weekend was. So the guy comes to work, and he says, oh, it was fantastic. I found this amazing record I've been looking for forever at Vintage Vinyl. Well, at that point, we're just like
Well,
on the
whoa!
floor of the theater,
Right.
and people around us who knew who we were, they're all screaming vintage vinyl.
Yeah,
So
right.
it was a great moment.
Oh, man.
And of course the reverberations of that film in terms of our world knowing who we are now, because
Right.
the movie was such a big success and
Exactly.
still gets played.
Mhm.
That, I mean, it's done amazing things for us as well.
Right.
So can't say enough about those guys. They're
That's
the best.
great. And you
Yeah.
never know what, like you said, you never know what impact you're gonna have on someone's
Exactly.
life.
Exactly.
You know, it's good to pay it back. you know?
Absolutely.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah, it was a great moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I did hear something about, or I read it, that you were mentioning a book, a novel.
Yes. So there's a book called The Time Traveler's Life, which again was the first novel by a woman by the name of Audrey Niffenegger, who was a customer of our shop while she was in my school. And again, we had a relationship where she was asking and I was helping her out, and unbeknownst to me, she included our shop in this novel, which became a gigantic selling book all over the world. And the way I found out about it was somebody walking through the door saying, "Congratulations on the book." And I said, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, I'm not a writer.
And they said, "Well, you're mentioned in this book called The Time Traveler's Life." I said, "I don't know anything about this." So, of course, I did some research at that moment. And, you know, it was amazing. And became friends with Audrey personally after that, you know, and she's an amazing woman. And a fantastic artist as well as a writer. But there you go. It was one of those moments where I had no idea that was going to happen.
That's amazing.
But she was, you know, a very big supporter of the shop and got a lot of her best music here and decided to pay us back that way.
Very good. Very good.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Wow, that is nice.
Yeah.
Now, I do notice when I'm, you know, going around the record shops and things like that, because, you know, I dig for records and everything.
Sure.
And I take my kids along with me. You know, sometimes, you know, they want to go. Other times like that, I don't feel like going.
Right.
But I do notice when I'm in record shops now, I see a lot of the younger generation looking for vinyl, you know, that have been raised on CDs, MP3s, all, you know, digital. But, you know, I see them looking for vinyl. Do you see that also?
Yeah, this is a very, very interesting time for that because there is a very brand new demographic of people coming into the shop.
Right.
Because we've been here so long, we've seen this now come full circle. So we're getting people who are coming in who really don't have any history with records personally, but either knowing that their parents have records, or their friends are getting records, or they're hearing about records as a way to have a musical experience that they've never had. And so the fact that all of these people are coming in now, for us it's feeling like the dawn of a new era, actually.
Right.
It's really day one. And so for them, because they didn't grow up with records, this is a brand new experience. So for us, we've now become the educators to begin to guide them through their journey of records and music and what makes a record as opposed to any other electronic way of hearing music.
Right.
So it's actually very encouraging for us because what it's saying to us is that this demographic has been missing something. Whether it's the tactile experience or wanting to know more about the artist and how the artist created the album and wants the listener to hear it in a specific track order.
Right.
I can tell you that putting the track order together for our record was a painstaking process because there are so many factors involved when you have two sides of a record. You have 6 tracks on each side. You want the record to have a flow. You want it to have a meaning.
Right.
There are so many interesting things that go into that.
Sure, to take that listener on that journey.
On that journey, absolutely. So this is a way, rather than pulling random tracks from the sky that lot of the time may not have a really deep connection to them.
Right.
Because it could be just in the mix of something else, and they may not even know who it's performed by.
Mm-hmm.
But here's a way to have the experience where here's what the artist wants me to know. And it also opens up their own imagination by looking at an album cover, looking at the artwork, following the track order, trying to understand what that musician wants you to know.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very different and very enriching experience.
Sure. It's really like it can become a spiritual.
Absolutely.
Just